Welcome, Namaste. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining practice today. We are starting this week with a practice in mindfulness. Okay, so we are going to practice a meditation like we did yesterday, where we ask ourselves some questions and we carve a practice of approaching situations, perhaps a little different, or maybe it's similar to the way you try to approach challenges in your life, and it's just keeping that practice going. So, first, sitting tall, let your leg bones relax, soften your bones, letting them be heavy onto your support. Perhaps it's a cushion, maybe you're lying down on your mat, maybe you're against the wall, perhaps you're choosing to be seated on a chair today. Any of those techniques, they all work. Just make sure that you make space in your spine by lengthening from the bottom of the pelvic floor up to the crown of the head. And sometimes, because we are trying to find balance between releasing, letting go through our base, and elongating and elevating the energy up to the skies through the trunk, it can get a little tricky because it may be a little challenging to soften and at the same time staying alert, right? But this is actually one of the subtle practices of our yoga journey to find balance between effort and ease. So, see if you can, with your breath, slowly bring your awareness into making this time and this space your journey into balance, into being alert, receptive, open, and also being able to let go, release, and drop what's not needed. All of our practices with more alignment, with less alignment, with more flow, with less flow, are meant to help us release suffering and move closer and closer to our hearts. So, with that in mind, we bring the gaze in towards our own center and we connect to our own breath, noticing the rhythm, the quality, the sound, the smell, any of the characteristics that you can pick up in order to get to know ourselves a bit better, a bit deeper. And notice the activity in your brain. Thoughts, ideas, worries, things to do, and you don't need to judge them or change them or be any, I'm going to say, act upon them at all. Okay, so we become the observer. So as we feel the rhythm of the breath, we stay calm, we become receptive, and we practice thinking of a difficulty you're facing now in your life, spiritually or anywhere, in any form. If you practice this with me yesterday, maybe the same challenge shows up. Maybe there's a new one that naturally arises into the surface. As you sense this difficulty, take your time and give yourself a moment to notice how it affects your body, how it feels in your heart, and also its energy in the mind. And give yourself this chance to bring compassion as you feel this. And we'll start practicing asking ourselves some questions and listening inwardly for the answers. Some of them may come up quickly, some of them may take time, some of them may not show up in this moment. Just sit and observe. How have I approached this difficulty so far until now? How have I suffered by my own response and reaction to this challenge? What does this problem ask me to let go of? What is my measure of suffering that I'm willing to accept if there is suffering? What happens if I bring tender compassion to all the parts of this difficulty? What great lesson might I be able to learn from this situation? And what is the hidden gold or value in this issue, in this challenge for me? Like I said, some questions may be easy to answer, some others may not be. Maybe your mind gets distracted, or maybe you feel anxious about asking yourself these questions. So observe those things, don't push yourself. This is just a practice of carving awareness and also moving from avoiding an issue or pushing it away to slowly becoming friends with it so we can respond eventually to the challenges in our lives in a little bit of a different way. We have sometimes different ways, right, to approach challenges. One can be the one that I just said, pushing something away, trying to avoid it, or doing as if it's not there. The issue with that is that at some point it shows up again, maybe in our bodies, maybe in our breath, maybe in our minds, and we suffer. Then there is also the option of protecting ourselves from that issue. So it's almost like if we put a fence and we say, okay, it's there, I see it, but I'm not getting close and I'm protecting myself with this fence, right? And that can be also a good way to approach it because it brings more awareness. It's a step forward. We are seeing it, but we are still, in a way, staying away from it, right? So the third one would be the one that we are trying to practice today, getting a little deeper, a little friendlier, and trying to move away from fear and avoidance into seeing what is and bringing our own teacher, right? The teacher that lies within our hearts to open up more possibilities and to move away from suffering eventually. This practice can be done when we are on our mat, which we will do in a minute. And we can also observe and see how we respond, denying, putting a fence, or trying to become curious, receptive, like a beginner learner, and work with what we have to heal ourselves. Let's bring our palms together into the heart center. Lift the heart into your palms. Relax the shoulder blades down your back without pushing the shoulders down. And as you welcome your intention for the practice today, visualize that intention, make it part of your journey. And if you're willing to do so, offer it also to any being you may be thinking of or may show up, so we can practice the real yoga, offering our journey, our learning experience, our growth to others around us. And as always in gratitude, we connect head, heart, and hands together at the center, releasing the palms, slowly lifting the head and opening the eyes. Welcome everyone, whoever got in a little later, welcome. This is a flow and form or align class. And we are moving to the mat and starting to move. If you just got into the practice, we will be using several blankets today. So you will need to have at least, I'm going to say, my happy place would be 3. But if you don't have 3, then 2. If you have 4 is awesome. If you have 5, that's top. Okay, let's start by doing an exercise to open the chest and the shoulders. We'll be working a lot of practices to open up the body towards shoulder stand today. Okay, so we are sitting tall. We are lengthening through the legs. If you need a padding underneath your sitting bones, then you add one of those blankets underneath. This is my sidekick. And we are going to start by bringing our hands far back into our mat with the fingertips pointing out. And I'm going to keep the heels pushing away from me so my legs are toned. I'm going to bend my elbows towards the back of my room. And without straightening my arms, I'm going to try and bring the shoulder blades towards one another. So the back of my heart connecting into that area. And then from there, I'm going to try and lift the sternum. Okay, let's take one full breath here. Notice your breath, exhale. Then push up into a sit, cross your right shin in front of the left one, and then let the torso come forward, fold, let the neck become long, the head heavy, and then swing a little bit side to side. Just starting to stretch the lumbar muscles. We'll go into different practices to open up and prepare. If you need to stay more like centered and still, you can just drop and stay there, letting everything become heavy, feeling the sensations in the lumbars, the mid-back, the torso in general, the neck and the head. You may start feeling a little bit of pulling in your legs as well, because this is also a hip opener, okay? Good, then from there, I'm coming back, re-extending the legs. If you need to wiggle them a little bit, do so. And again, I'm going to bring my hands behind. My fingertips are pointing out towards the sides of the mat. My hands are not close to my my hips. They are really far back. And then again, I'm going to bend my elbows, and instead of sending them out to the sides, I'm bringing them in towards one another, towards the back of my mat. Once I have that, I'm going to push and lift the center of my chest, push with my hands, right? But I'm still having my elbows bent, and I'm keeping my chin down a tiny bit, so I also bring space in the back of my neck. Take a deep breath in. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades moving down. Then I'm pushing again to sit up tall again, left shin in front of the right one. And again, I'm folding over the legs, releasing. And again, choice here, your choice to move around a little bit, stretching the lumbars. Like I said, I'm going to do some other practices to add more activation there, but we start slow, okay? Releasing neck and head, noticing differences perhaps from the first time to the second time. Maybe the second time there's more of an opportunity for you to release a little heavier and soften the face, keeping the eyes kind. And then we move up again. Last time we re-extend the legs, we shake them a little bit. One more time, the last one, this is, we are putting those hands again behind all the way towards the back of the mat. I'm going to bend my elbows again, sending the elbows back and into one another. And keeping that, I'm going to try and lift the chest a little, okay? It's not extreme, okay? It's just a little. So we create more of that action of opening the top of the chest, maybe the front of your shoulders, and also activating the upper back. Take a deep breath, press through your heels, press the thighs down. Good, then we come up. We are going to cross any shin that you want to cross in front. And from here, we are going into a tabletop, okay? From tabletop, we'll take 3 cow cats and just settle shoulders over the wrists. Let's inhale, lengthen the front spine, lifting outer shoulders back. Exhaling, tailbone down, drawing belly button in, chin to the chest. And again, inhaling, exhale. One more, inhaling and exhale. Good, from here, coming back towards the neutral spine, let's take a few circles with the pelvis. Just a few times going one way and then the other. Just checking everyone is okay. Good. Beautiful. Super. Welcome, Kay, Paige, my other Susan. Beautiful. Super. Then from there, look at your hands, and we are going to do a little modification for the hands, and we're going to work today with that variation at all times, okay? We did it yesterday as well. We are going to turn the, sorry, before we turn, we are going to move the hands first a little wider than the shoulders. So they are already wider than the usual, okay? And then I'm going to turn my fingertips out towards the sides of the mat, just one hair. I usually like to, when I open my hands a little bit or dial my hands a little bit out, I like to use the crease of my thumb and index finger, so the center in between, as a marker to point towards the front of the mat. So you can keep that if you want. Move the knees a few inches back, curl the toes under, and then we push firmly through the hands, gripping the mat with the fingertips, making sure that the knuckles of the forefingers are steady. And then I'm going to push chest towards the thighs and starting to play a little bit with stretching one leg and then the other, feeling the length in the side body, dropping the neck. You can even wiggle the head a little bit side to side, like saying no or yes, just to make sure you're letting go there, okay? And you can play with, as I'm showing, bending the knees, going over to one side, then bending knees over to the other side, giving yourself a little bit of leeway here to play and feel the sensations in the body in general before we move more, okay? Good. You can bend both knees. Whenever you feel ready to steady yourself a little more, no rush, take the tops of your thighs back, lift your armpits just a little bit and the front of your chest a little bit in so we don't sink, and push the mat away, okay? Take a deep breath here, dropping neck and head, external rotation in the upper arm bones. Good, and then from there, bring the feet a little closer. Take the right leg up to the skies. Right foot comes forward in between the hands, left knee comes down. Good. To start here, I'm going to let my hips come forward and down. Bring the hands on top of your right thigh and just stay here for a moment. Okay, let's take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Good. Then I'm going to take my arms to the sides and I'm going to try and hold opposite forearms. Okay. Just hold there wherever you can, right? It can be elbows, forearms, or wrist, or even a belt instead. And as I let my hips drop and my front knee go a little further, I'm lifting the side body and I'm sending the front of my armpits up and the back of my armpits down. So I'm pulling those elbows towards the floor, okay? Lifting the heart. Take a deep inhalation here through the nose. and exhale. Good. And then I'm going to switch this, releasing my arms. I'm going to push myself into a neutral low lunge. You see the difference? Hips forward and down. And now my pelvis is more in line with my spine. So sacrum goes down, pubic bone lifts towards the chest. And from here, I'm going to bring now my palms, one on top of the other in front of me. Okay, good. Now watch this or go with me. Okay, we're going to inhale and exhale, go to the left. Inhale to the center, exhale to the left. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Now stay there and you're going to tilt and send that left elbow towards the left leg. So I'm stretching the front and I'm also going to extend both arms. Left arm is going down, right arm is going up, okay? Take a deep breath here and exhale. Then bring the palms again, one on top of the other and return to center. Good job. From here, I'm going to put both my hands inside my right foot. I'm going to tuck my back toes so I can lift myself. I know I'm going to give you my back, but I want you to bring the heels in, toes out, and we are going to fall here, bending the knees and wiggling a little bit side to side, okay? Let the torso go. Good. Then I'm going to cross my right arm towards the left leg, left arm towards the right leg. I'm not touching necessarily, but yes, I'm crossing there and releasing and playing again a little bit here with that flexion in the knees and the hips. Nice. Good. Then I'm coming back towards the front. I'm going to bring my left knee down again, left hand down, twist to your right. Opening the chest here, take a deep breath, firm the hips in. Exhale, right hand down, we go back to downward facing dog. Full breath here. And we go into the second side. You can bring the feet a little closer, left leg goes up to the skies, left foot comes forward in between the hands, right knee comes down. You can untuck your back toes or keep them tucked. And then I'm putting my hands on top of my left thigh, letting my hips, pelvis move forward, creating that stretch and that sensation of opening in the right hip flexor. Lift the side body. Good. And then release the arms. And again, we are going to hold behind. If you remember, you put the opposite hand on top. If you don't remember, it's fine. The one that it wasn't there before, it's going to feel funny. Good. And again, as I'm letting my hips come forward and down, I'm lifting the front of my armpits and then releasing the back of my armpits down. Okay. Lift the sternum, feel that connection of the shoulder blades into one another and down. Take a breath. Then I'm releasing and I'm coming into my neutral low lunge, okay? Good. Now send the sacrum south and lift the pubic bone north towards your nose, okay? Let's inhale, arms up overhead. And with the exhale, I'm going to again put one palm on top of the other for my second side, okay? Now we are going to inhale here, exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, exhale. Two more. Inhale, neutral pelvis. Exhale. Last one. Good. Now you can see me from here. I'm leaning towards my back leg with my right elbow. And then I'm going to extend both arms. Try to keep that pubic bone lifting, sacrum down. You can rest the head down if you want as well. You don't have to hold it, okay? Bring the hands together, return, back to center. Nice. Then we put both hands inside the left foot and we are going to change what we did before over to the second side. So now I'm bringing heels a little closer, toes out. I'm bending through my knees, and again, I'm moving torso side to side. Let the trunk relax and drop, head, neck, and feel the connection with the leg muscles. We are starting to warm up way more. And then again, I'm going to cross one arm to the opposite side, the other arm to the opposite side, dropping head again, and playing a little bit side to side. Nice. When we come back towards the top of the mat, we take that right knee down, right hand stays down. You can always put support, and we twist to the left. Opening the chest, push the floor away, firm the hips into one another. Exhale, left hand down, up we go, downward facing dog. Inhaling, we come to plank. Push through the heels, lengthen. Exhale to down dog. Again, inhaling, we go to plank. Exhale, down dog. One more. Inhaling, plank pose. Good. Exhaling, this time we go all the way down to the mat. You can use your knees. Good. From here, we are going to take arms back, palms facing down. Keep the tops of your feet pressing down. Fire the glutes. Lift pubic bone up towards your nose and go up with the chest. Inhaling, shoulder blades moving down the back. One more. Exhale, bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck your toes. Up we go to downward facing dog. Big breath here. Exhale. Good. Right leg goes up to the skies. Exhale, right foot comes forward in between the hands, squeeze through the inner legs, and we go up into a high crescent. Good. Let's take a full breath here. Bend the back knee a little, let the front knee drop a little more. Lift through the hips. Exhale, bring the arms down. If you can, you're going to lace your fingers, but don't straighten the arms just yet. Okay, I want you to bring the elbows back like we did in the first exercise. Bring them back and draw the shoulder blades down. Okay, and then if you can with that, you extend the arms a little more, but the idea is shoulder blades in and down, most important. Elbows stay pointing down, back, okay? Again, inhale, neutral pelvis. Exhale, touch down, downward facing dog. Good, let's go to the second side. Inhaling, left leg goes up to the skies. Good job. Exhale, left foot forward in between the hands. Take it there. If it doesn't get there, beautiful. Squeeze inner legs, come up high crescent. Good. Important here that your pelvis is neutral. So bend the back knee a little bit. Let the front knee bend a little more. Yes, good job. Lift the pubic bone towards your chest and let that sacrum go south. Beautiful, guys. Great. Now from there, take the arms down. And if you can, lace the fingers behind the lower back. If not, you take a belt, okay, or a strap or a towel or whatever. Good. Susan, we are doing this, okay? Super. Then from there, instead of pulling your arms down, lift the torso, Susan. We are standing in high crescent. Yay. Then instead of pulling the arms down, I want you to work with elbows going back, shoulder blades moving down, okay? Lift that front pelvis, lengthen through the arms. If you can, keep that action of the shoulder blades in and down. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling to plank. Exhaling, we come all the way down. We are going to put the forearms in front for Sphinx. Lace your fingers in front of you. Press with the underside of your palms and wrists. Curl your toes under. First, push and lift the chest and the shoulder blades into one another and down. Good. And then curl those toes a little bit more. Bring them in towards your pelvis. Fire those glutes and lift into forearm plank. Lengthen. Connect everything into the midline, hips, glutes. Lengthen the navel to the nose. Good. Come all the way down. Hands under the shoulders, Cobra pose. Exhale, release, tuck the toes. Up we go to downward facing dog. Good, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good, and we keep moving one more. Inhaling, right leg goes up to the skies. Right foot comes forward in between the hands. Now I want you to take the left foot all the way to the left side of your mat. Turn the back heel in and down. Bend the front knee. And we come into warrior one. Good. Back foot pressing firmly, okay? And the arms will come again behind, the same as we did before. Lace the fingers. If you remember what thumb goes on top, it's a good thing, so then you can change it, okay? Send the elbows back, shoulder blades down. Bend that front knee, but lift the front of the pelvis. Take a deep breath in. Good. With the exhale, I'm going to fold humble warrior inside the right thigh. And I'm not going to lift my arms today above the head, okay? I'm going to try and keep that work of the shoulder blades into one another and down as I drop the neck and the head. Press firmly through the feet. Let the right knee bend. Bring the right hip towards the midline of your mat. Release hands down, back to plank pose. Lower. Lift into Cobra or up dog. Shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, down dog. Good, second side. Left leg goes up to the skies. Left foot comes forward in between the hands. Good, take the right foot all the way to the right side of your mat. Then turn the heel in and down. Press firmly through the feet. Bend the front knee. Come up, warrior one. Good, bend firmly that the front thigh, let it drop. Sacrum long, lengthen through the side body. And then bring those arms behind. Second thumb goes on top, the one that feels funny. Bend those elbows towards the back of your mat and bring the shoulder blades in and down. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Don't be afraid of letting that front thigh drop a little more, okay? When you're ready, we keep those shoulder blades the same as they are, okay? Into one another and down, and we fold inside that left thigh. Shoulders should not be falling towards your ears, okay? That's why the shoulder blades, they stay back and down. But yes, the head releases, the combination of effort and ease. Release the hands down, back to plank. We go all the way down. And this time we are going to extend the arms, place the palms facing down, and we're going to lift the legs as well. Tone the glutes, lift the pubic bone, just a little bit of lifting through the legs, lift through the chest, shoulder blades down the back. Imagine you want to touch with the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, your tailbone. Good, but the tailbone is lengthening back towards the heels. Good, release. Let's go into a child's pose and soften here for a moment. Good, you made it almost all the way. Taking a moment here, we return to the breath. Notice the thoughts arising. Notice the breath. Find again that sense of calm and serenity as you return to the sensations and whatever arises in this moment. Good. Okay, I'll guide you from here. Simple stuff. One more. Go back to downward facing dog. Slowly. Good. Bring the feet, if you need, a little bit closer. Press firmly through the hands. Look at the hands. Make them a little wider, like I said in the beginning, and turn the fingertips a hair out, okay? So those arms are externally rotated and giving more space in the upper back. Beautiful. Okay, let's send the right leg up to the skies. Right foot comes forward towards the hands and the left knee comes down. Okay. Once you're there, you can open that right foot a little wider to the side, to the right, and turn the toes out. Okay. And we are going to come a little lower into a lizard pose. If you need the blocks, you put the blocks. Let that right hip flex. Keep the right knee pointing towards your toes. My right foot is completely grounded on the mat. And of course, you add the blocks if you need a little extra lift, okay? Here, showcasing. Another breath. Good, and then option here, okay? For the ones who want to go with me, you don't have to if this is too much. I'm going to press into my left hand to push the floor away, bring my right arm back, and try and catch my left foot with my right hand, okay? This is a quad stretch. If this is too intense, you can just bring the leg a little high up and bring the right hand to your hip, or lasso the foot with a strap, or just avoid this one all the way, okay? Lift the chest, bring that foot a little closer. Good, let's release and go back to down dog. Inhaling, left leg goes up to the skies. Left foot comes forward in between the hands, right knee comes down. I'm letting my left foot go out to the side a little, toes pointing out, hands inside. And any support that you need, you bring it in, or forearms coming down. You can also stay on your hands, torso more elevated, and it's all good. Make the left knee point towards your toes. Then we slowly lift up if we were a little lower, and I'm going to push the mat with my right hand, or the block will make it easier if you need a little more space. Bending the right knee, I'm going to try and catch the foot with the opposite hand, bring it in. Lifting through the chest. Don't be aggressive in your practice. We are practicing ahimsa, the first principle of the first limb of yoga. So the most important one, loving kindness, non-aggression, non-harming, compassion, patience, all of the things that we want to include in our awareness practices. Then I'm slowly releasing, going back to downward facing dog. And adding from here, one more vinyasa, plank, lower. This time we're going to try and lace the fingers behind the lower back for the locust pose, rolling the shoulders just to widen there, and then sliding shoulder blades down the back towards the tail, bottom tips in, lift. Release, push into child's pose. Dropping again, returning, regrouping. And observing this moment as it is. okay? Stay present. One of the most important practices we want to bring into our daily life. Staying present with what is so we can watch, make space, and see what's going on without being very impulsive. Good, another breath. And then slowly come up to sitting. So you can bring your knees a little closer, sit on your heels just for a moment. And if you have a hard floor, you will need padding for your knees, okay? So we'll go first with an opener before we move towards the shoulder stand practice, okay? So I'm going to come onto my knees. I'm going to keep my hips above the knees. Of course, like I said, if you need padding, you put it there. I'm going to bring my hands with my thumbs to the rim of my pelvis. And instead of having my fingertips pointing out to the sides, I'm going to try and change that to bring my fingertips down towards my knees. So with my palms, I'm even kind of like combing the tops of my glutes down, okay? Elbows go back, and it's the same action that we've been doing in many of the shapes that we just did before. So we can work those shoulder blades into one another and down. This is the action that we need to do when our arms are behind and we are going into inversions like the shoulder stand or others like this one, okay? Shoulder stand is not a back bend. This is a back bend. The other one is not, but yes, it requires the opening in the heart center, okay? So we are taking the elbows back, shoulder blades down. And as I keep my pelvis above my knees, I'm going to just try and come a little further. This one, like I said, it's back bending, right? So I'm sending the sacrum down, lifting the sternum, shoulder blades in and down your back. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Returning to the neutral, we sit back and we take a breath. Good, let's do it one more time. Coming back up into our knees, drawing the pelvic floor up, sacrum going down, glutes are active. I'm bringing my hands again behind with the fingertips pointing down. If you want to go a little further, you can try moving those hands a little further down, almost at the bottom of your glutes, okay? And from there again, elbows back, shoulder blades down, and I'm coming into that back bend. I usually don't throw my head back because it's not good for my neck, but your choice. I try to keep my neck long. Okay, so I'm lifting the sternum, powering my glutes, sacrum long, and lifting the heart. Shoulder blades down. Then we come back, sitting one more time, taking a deep breath in, exhaling to release. Good. Let's bring the legs in front. And before we go into what's coming, sit tall. If you have a strap close by, it may be useful for this. If you don't need it, you don't use. I'm going to lengthen the front spine and come into a forward fold. I'm not making it extreme, okay? I'm just lifting the pelvic floor up from the pelvis and the hip joints. I'm hinging and folding. Inner legs pressing down, tops of the thighs pressing down. Make the femur bones steady and heavy to support the forward fold. Then I'm slowly returning. It's a short one. Good. I'm bending my knees, placing my feet down, and we are going to come down into preparation for first a bridge pose before we go into the shoulder, okay? And you don't have to do the shoulder stand. I'll show you modifications, so don't worry at all. Okay, so Bridge pose. Like I said in my tutorial yesterday, I want to revert a little bit of what we are very used to doing, habits that we have. I do not want us to move the shoulders down so we don't pull the neck muscles too hard, right? We are kind of used to do that when we go into the bridge pose. So I don't want that. I want the shoulders to stay in neutral, in the position where they feel naturally set, okay? But yes, I want you to bring your elbows down on your mat, and by pressing one elbow at the time, invite the shoulder blades to move into the back of your chest. So I'm not pulling my shoulders down, but yes, I'm kind of like tucking my shoulder blades in, okay? And then from there, if you want, you can use the same technique, press firmly through the feet, push through the elbows, and lift into bridge pose. Again, I'm wiggling a little bit through those shoulder blades in to lift the chest. I'm powering, of course, through my glutes, my hips going up. And we take a few breaths. You can catch the sides of your mat. You can lace your fingers behind the spine. You can do the version that feels best. Another breath. And then slowly release, coming down. Take a moment here. Don't do anything. Just rest the pelvis. Widen both your feet and let the knees touch into one another at the center. You can bring the hands to your belly. Good. One more breath. And then slowly reset the knees above your heels and roll over to the side, pressing up to a seat. Okay, this is the time when I'm going to show you how I want us to work towards shoulder stand. If you're newer to this practice or you're like, no, I don't know how to do this, this is not for me, I don't even know what it means, or I'm scared, what you're going to do, it's all good. Just listen to that, listen to your own teacher, and you'll follow through with what is best for you today. For the ones who are not going to come with me and I'm going to show and practice, you're going to practice a standing forward fold with the legs wide. You're going to tone your legs, you're going to tone your glutes, and you're going to use your hands onto your pelvis like we did before, or the sides if you prefer. But with that, you're going to work those shoulder blades moving in and down like we were doing before. And you're going to practice a forward fold. And you can stay there. After a while, after several breaths, you can bring your hands down and work in a forward fold, which is very comparable to the shoulder stand in a different way, okay? For the ones who are going to play with me towards the shoulder stand, we are going to, I already prepared it, but I have 3 blankets. Mine are thick, and I'm using the 3 of them. They are all folded in the same way, and I have, you can see that the flare, I don't know how you call this, but this side, they are all together on one side, and the other side, they are all the folds, okay? So they are very steady and very much planted one on top of the other, okay? So that's what I'm doing. Good. So I'm going to change it up because I want this side to be the side where I'm going to put my shoulders. So look at what's happening. You see that I didn't put my blankets on one end or the other end. I put them more like halfway. Why? Because I want us to bring a third of the mat on top. You'll see why in a moment, okay? Now, if you can see my setup, I hope you can, my third of the mat, it's not completely on top of all my blankets. It's a little bit below. So what I'm leaving there is a piece of my blanket where my shoulders will go, and the shoulders need to be able to wiggle a little bit and move. And that's why I'm keeping the blanket there. But I need my elbows to be more steady. And that's why I'm putting the mat on the other end, right? Or that other piece. So when I get there and I hook my elbows, then they stay steady and then they don't slide out. Okay, I hope that you got that idea. Good. So from there, then I'm going to come and I'm going to sit on the other side because that's where I'm going to set my shoulders, okay? So for the ones going with me, you can also do this close to a wall if you feel like you will have more support and you feel more safe, let's say, or safer, okay? Good, let's go. From here, I'm going to put my shoulders, not exactly at the border of the blanket, but a little bit below, because when I move up, they are going to move with me, okay? So I'm just gonna modify my mat a little. Good, I'm making space so I can put my shoulders there, okay? Now you can see that my head is right off that blanket. So my neck is not on the blanket and the head is not on the blanket. It's back, like out, okay? Good, from there, a few options to lift yourself. Some people like to bring the legs all the way over towards the other side. If you like that and your body does it, it's great. The other one is to just push yourself a little bit and bring your knees towards your face, okay? And then, so either or, okay? Then from there, I want us to start playing with those elbows moving in. So we wiggle the shoulder blades like we've been doing before, okay? So then from there, I'm going to start working towards my lift. Those hands that you can see me playing with my hands, I'm trying to walk them down towards my neck so I can lift my body and make a full line that goes from my shoulders to the hips, from the hips to the knees, from the knees to the feet. And your toes should be above your mouth, not above your forehead, okay? So you don't send the legs super far. Good, so I'm trying to keep those thoracic spine going towards me, lifting. My legs are super active, and I'm trying to bring my inner feet together if possible. Tops of the thighs working, inner thighs going away from my face. And breathing here. I did not move my shoulders down, okay? So I just went with those shoulder blades moving in and up my back. Just a few breaths, you don't need to stay super long. When you decide to come back, you can return the same way. I'm just guiding, okay? So you can stay there a little longer and then make your way down. Take your time. If you are just taking a forward fold, it's all good. And you're taking a forward fold, and then you can come back and join us. Good. I see some of you are resting. It's all good. Beautiful. Okay. Now, for the ones who tried the shoulder stand with me, then there is a posture that it's usually the counter posture to it. I usually don't do it often, but it's a nice one to know and to have. So what I'm going to do now is to bring, I'm lying down, I'm bringing my hands under my butt, and I'm going to wiggle my elbows in. It's a little bit like what we did before. So I'm moving the elbows in. That means that my shoulder blades are coming towards one another again. I'm extending my legs, and then I'm lifting through the chest and letting the neck and the head drop. Fish pose. The neck is long and the head is heavy. I'm not pushing them down. I'm just letting them drop. And the shoulder blades are moving in and down as well. Then we slowly release. Bring both knees to the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Good, and then we'll open the arms to the sides. Let both knees drop one way, head the other way. Taking a twist. Nice. And then second side. Good. When you come over to the second side, let the knees drop, the head also relax, the shoulders become heavy. Good. And then slowly back to center. Good. If you need to take a happy baby pose here or hug the knees again a little bit and rock, please do. And then from there, we'll move towards Shalasana. If you have a wall close by and you didn't practice the shoulder stand like we did before, you can take your legs, your body to a wall and take the legs to a wall to rest, okay? If not, Shavasana time, supine, covering your eyes, adding anything you need to rest.